Hey guys, Anisu here, and today we want to talk about Dawnbreaker as a +4 support hero. Dawnbreaker got some huge changes, for example getting a new shard and a new agonyms and also some reworks to the talents. This boosted her win rate quite hard. Let's jump right into the video. So as always, we start off with the skill build. You want to take Starbreaker level 1. Compared to Celestial Hammer, the damage Starbreaker offers is just way higher. The scaling of Celestial Hammer is way better. So Celestial Hammer is the spell we max out first, and then we max out Starbreaker second to get lower cooldown and also a little bit longer stun duration. Usually you want to skip Luminosity entirely just because both other spells are so good early on, and also the healing component of Luminosity is not a lot. If you choose so, you could take 1 point at level 4, but usually I would just recommend going for this skill build, only take Q and W before you even touch Luminosity at all. You take the ultimate at normal levels 6, 12, 18 and then talents 10, 15, 20, 25. There's not much change up here. For the talents themselves, usually you always take the Hammer Slow, you always take Solar Guardian cooldown, and you always take Solar Guardian radius. Maybe in some games you could argue to take the Starbreaker swipe damage, but keep in mind we are support, dealing damage is not our main priority, and also 30 damage is not a lot. So I would advise just get the Hammer Slow in every game. For the level 25 talent, this is the first real choice that we have. Both 25 talents are, in my opinion, pretty good. Usually the Starbreaker charges is better just because you have an additional stun, especially if you got this shard. But if you're playing against like slippery heroes that have a lot of blinks, then probably you won't get a lot of stuns off. And also the Celestial Hammer cast range is incredible to chase down people or to survive. So if you're playing against slippery heroes, probably Celestial Hammer cast range, but in most games I would still advise take the Starbreaker charges, like your stun is your best spell, especially if you have shard. For Dawnbreaker we got 2 starting builds. The first one is a more laning oriented build that offers more pressure the first 2 or 3 levels, which includes Orb of Venom for additional slow. It is also more easy to hit your stun, and then just more regen, so you can play the lane more. The second one just includes boots and tango, so you can play around pulls, you can contest people that are trying to pull, you can block pulls. This is more if you want to give your offlaner solo experience, maybe if you want to roam around the map. It's also pretty good if you plan on securing a lot of runes. If your offlaner needs a lot of experience, I would probably go for the second build, just boots and then rush Arcanes straight away. Arcanes is the first core item that we buy, together with Magic Wand. Then for the real big core items, we want to disassemble the Arcane boots into Holy Locket. Holy Locket will increase the heal of your ultimate by 35%, which is incredible. Then we want to go for Mechanism just for additional healing. In most games you want to buy a shard. You don't need to buy a shard if you're only focused on healing people, but usually this is a great item. Even on support Dawnbreaker, there's just a free BKB. It can save your life in so many situations and also just secure free stuns for you. Then we got the new agonyms. This will just give more evasion. I think it's 60% and it will increase your ulti duration. Really great item, but also pretty expensive. Also we want to build Guardian Greaves. If you want, you can build the Guardian Greaves before the agonyms. You can kind of switch around the items a little bit, but usually I would always go lock it into Mechanism and then you can buy all the other free items like as you want. For the situational items, We have Orb of Corrosion, just offers a little bit more kill potential in lane, but usually this is a lot of gold that could be spent towards your healing items like Locket and Mechanism, so I would not buy this often, but in some games you can get a lot of kills with this item, so keep this in mind. It can be pretty good in some games, but most games I would not recommend it. And then we just have normal support items, Lotus, Solar Crest, Force Staffs, Glimmer Capes, Pipe, Vladimir's. Just normal support items that help your teammates. If you need any of those, feel free to pick them up. Then we have Heaven's Halberd. It's just pretty good if you need to disarm someone, but also all the Sange variations, like Halberd, Sange Nyasha, Sange Kaya, whatever, they give lifesteal amplification, and your luminosity is actually considered lifesteal and not heal. So the healing from your luminosity will not get increased by Holy Locket, but it will get increased by all the Sanges and Heaven's Halberd. Keep this in mind. For the last item we got the Dagger. There's a pretty cool combo you can do that I will show you in a few minutes. So for the skills of Dawnbreaker, the first spell is Starbreaker. This will let you deal 3 swings that deal bonus damage, and also the third one, the last, will strike the ground and you will stun enemies. As you can see here, 2 swings and then the third one stuns the enemy and also deals even more bonus damage than the first 2. For the second one, it is Celestial Hammer. You can throw the hammer, the enemies get damaged, and then if you press W again, you pull the hammer back. You will also fly towards the middle, like as you can see here. You will meet in the middle of the way with your hammer. Then you got this fire trail. Everyone standing in the fire trail will get slowed and also damaged. And then if you hit someone with the hammer to the way back again, it will just deal the hammer damage twice. So this can deal up to 300 hammer damage, and then still the whole fire trail DPS. The third spell is Luminosity. As you can see here, we got a counter. This is basically like Slaughter's Bash. It's just every 4th attack will deal bonus damage, like a crit, and then also heal yourself and your allies around you. Usually you want to combo this up with your Starbreaker. You want to try to get 1 Luminosity proc. Like the counter should be 1, and then if you use your Starbreaker like this, the last attack from the Starbreaker, which is the stun, that also deals the huge amount of bonus damage, will crit with your Luminosity together. This is pretty important if you want to get the maximum amount of damage. Then for the ultimate, this is Solar Guardian. You can use this onto one of your allies or also yourself. This is global, as you can see here. Even if we stand over here, we can use this on Sven, and then he will get healed and every enemy inside the radius will get damaged. And then also, if you hit the ground, like after the chilling time, you'll hit the ground and every enemy will get stunned. So this is really nice spell, and this is also why we buy the Holy Locket, for example. Like the Locket will increase all the healing of the spell. If you buy Aghanim's, which is really nice on the hero, this will increase the duration. As you can see here, like the airtime will get increased by a lot, and also it gives evasion. So some bonus tricks. The Celestial Hammer, you can either use the spell Converge or just wait for the hammer to come back to you. If you just wait, your hero will not move. If you use the spell, you will move towards the hammer and meet in the middle. So this is pretty important if you want to like defend the tower, for example. If you want to defend this tower and there is like the whole enemy team coming over here, you can just throw the hammer like this and then you run away. This way, as you can see, your hammer will pull back towards you, still leave the fire trail, without you being pulled into the enemies. Then also another pretty cool trick with the dagger that I was talking about before. You can use the dagger while you're casting Starbreaker. This can secure some pretty niche stuns, especially if you don't have shard, but also just like a surprising stun. You can use Dawnbreaker, and then after the second charge you use the dagger, and then you will insta-stun enemies. Keep in mind, you have to face the direction you want to blink in. So if I cast a stun over in this direction and then try to dagger here, this will not work. Like as you can see, I'm spamming dagger and then he will just dagger afterwards. But if I face the direction of X and then I dagger here, this works. So for the early game, we will take a look at VGDY. He's playing Dawnbreaker pos 5. I think Dawnbreaker can be played as 4 and 5. So as you can see here, he's playing really aggressive, just running onto enemies. He's doing this a lot, especially the first 2 levels. This game he took W level 1. I assume this is because of the rune fight. Like there was a 5v5 fight going on into the rune, and he was probably worried about his Q getting cancelled. Also against Miranda and Earthshaker double stun lane, it is pretty hard to get off your stun. So against this lane it is probably better to get your W. But if you feel like your enemy heroes can't like cancel your Q mid animation, then you probably want to go for Q in most games. I guess you can see here, he's playing really aggressive. He's just going for trades. Even the Weaver is ignoring the CS. Like they just want to win the early trades with Dawnbreaker. They just want to get an early lead, just so enemies can't come back into the lane. Dawnbreaker is probably one of the best trading supports early on. As I said before, her spells deal insane damage level 2. Like she's even going 1v2. He doesn't care about getting stunned, he just runs at them all the time. Of course, if you're going for this playstyle, you also need to ferry some more region. Like as you can see here, he just got some tangos. And also he had a Salve and tango before. But basically, you just buy some more region that you ferry with the courier. And you just run at people. You use your spells, you use all your mana, you just run at people. And you make it really hard for them to get CS, and you just contest them all the time. Especially if you're playing with like an aggressive carry. Here again, like they're not even level 3 and they're just running at people. Like yes, Weaver died here, which is not that good. But just see how aggressive he plays. Like this is insane. Compared to most other support heroes, this hero is just so aggressive. And this is also what I would advise. Just play as aggressive as possible first few levels in most games. So now we want to take a look at how he actually casts his spells. Here he runs from behind. The first spell he uses is his Celestial Hammer, like in the direction they're running. So the Earthshaker is slowed by the Fire Trail. And then he gets off one hit, he waits the Ancient Totem, and then he immediately uses the Starbreaker, while Earthshaker is still slowed by the Orb of Venom and the Fire Trail. So this way he just hits up the stun, Weaver can get 3 hits, and then like this scenario they switched on Mirana, but yeah, like this is basically how you want to use your spells. Usually you want to use your Celestial Hammer first to get close to enemies, to slow them, and then especially if you have Orb of Venom, it's just really easy to use your hammer. So now how do we use the ultimate? As you can see here, he's paying attention to his Tiny's rotation. Tiny is just rotating onto Bloodseeker here. He has dagger, and then the second the Tiny daggers and combos the Bloodseeker, he's using his ultimate. Like here, he instantly uses ultimate onto Maiden and Bloodseeker that is stunned, just to offer more damage and also to join the fight. Like your ultimate is not only a tool to deal damage and heal people, but also to stun them if they stay in range for long enough, and to join the fight. So as you can see here, this is kind of like a haunt. He can just join the fight without using any TPs, like his TP was on cooldown before, so he can just join every team fight on the map globally. Like this is why Dawnbreaker is so insane. It doesn't matter where on the map you play, you can just join every team fight in like a few seconds. So another really important thing on Dawnbreaker, you can push out lanes, like split push lanes as Dawnbreaker pretty freely. Like right here, if you check out the map, there are a lot of enemies missing, so this farm is quite dangerous, but he's just a support. If he dies, it doesn't matter that much. Dawnbreaker can apply pressure onto side lanes, like over here, even in front of the enemy tower, you can apply pressure. You could also push like over here right now. And you can still join your team. Like when there's a team fight going on over here, you can just join with your ultimate. This is like a Spectre haunt. This is crazy. I think the only other support hero that is able to do this is AA. And even AA can only use his ultimate, and that's it. Dawnbreaker can completely join every single fight. Like right here, he's just pushing out the lane. And then pretty soon there will be a team fight or like a kill mid. Right, like Tiny is doing an initiation onto Earthshaker. And as you can see here, DY instantly just uses ultimate to join. If there would be a follow-up from the enemies, he would be in the fight. And this is like crazy. There are not a lot of support players that have this global pressure that Dawnbreaker can put onto enemies. You don't have to run around with your team all the time. Like if your ultimate is on cooldown, like right now, you probably don't run around like alone. And you want to follow up the teammates that you can get kills with. But if your ultimate is ready, you don't have to run around with them. You can just join them with the ultimate, which is so nice. So for the last clip, I just want to show you how incredible strong Dawnbreaker's Aghanim's actually is. Like here, he has a Holy Locket and Aghanim Scepter. He's running over here, playing around his team. His ultimate is coming off CD. And now this Lone Druid gets Echo Slammed over here. As you can see, he just loses 80% of HP in like 2 seconds. And then DY is using his ultimate. Just see how freaking fast he gets healed. This is crazy. Also, he gets 60% more evasion. So it is so hard to kill him right now. Like, Lone Druid was on 20% HP and he just healed him to full again. Like, it is so hard to fight into your ultimate. And then basically afterwards they just win the fight. Because the enemies have no Echo Slam and they can just run at them. So most of the time you just want to wait for the enemies to initiate onto like your carry or your mid hero or any other hero on your team, and then you just counter initiate with your ultimate. This is basically all you want to do with Dawnbreaker. Counter initiate with ultimate and then stun someone afterwards. Basically just turning around the team fight. This is, you're playing kind of like a Tidehunter, for example, that is just counter initiating the fight with Ravage. Like the playstyle of Dawnbreaker doesn't change with any items, really. Like the hero just scaled kind of linearly. You will just do the same thing whole game and you just get better and better with it. It is not like you get one item and then your playstyle completely changes. It is more like you just do the same thing over and over again. You just heal up people with your ultimate, you counter initiate team fights, and you fight people. Like, this is basically pretty easy. Dawnbreaker is not a hard hero to play once you learn how to use her spells. So to wrap up again, on Dawnbreaker, you want to go for an aggressive build early on. You want to play aggressive, trade with enemies a lot in lane. Basically just win your lane by out-trading enemies, getting kills with your enemies, and if you're playing with a friend, suggest them to pick a really aggressive laning hero, just to have more kill potential. You want to buy healing items for the mid and late game, like Holy Locket, Mechanism, Greaves, Aghanims, just to counter initiate. This is what your hero does. You're a counter initiator with your ultimate. You just turn around teamfights by healing people, especially the target that they're wasting all their spells on. And then you can play away from your team, which is incredible. You can relieve so much pressure on the map. Your teammates rarely ever have to worry about defending towers. If enemies push lanes, you can just deal with the pushes and then join your team in teamfights anyway with your ultimate. Dawnbreaker is a pretty flexible hero. She can also defend towers alone. She can do so much stuff. Like, I would advise try to play this hero. He's a lot of fun. Also, he's in a really great state right now. Just try her out. Also, if you have any questions, suggestions, whatever, feel free to write down in the comments below. If you have any ideas for other videos, other hero guides that you would like to see, also feel free to tell me. Thank you guys, have a nice day. See you.